got a question for our listeners. At what point does low battery panic set in? What percentage? There's a new survey out, and it's revealing the number. It's revealing the battery percentage when most people start to have battery anxiety or battery panic. So how much battery you have left, man, it takes a toll on your mental health.
It really is an unnecessary form of anxiety.
It's ridiculous.
That you're putting on yourself.
Our attachment to these phones, my God. Now you know why, like Verizon, they got out of like the local phone company landline business some time ago in a lot of the country. Not all, but they sold off like locally. Remember Verizon sold off to Frontier. They're like, yeah, we don't want to deal with the home stuff anymore. And because they knew that the wireless, the cell phone business, that's where it all was, all the crap flying through the air. All right. So the question I have for you, the MJ Morning Show listener, and then I'll reveal what the survey says. 2,000 Americans pinpointed precisely. So they took all the data. 2,000 Americans asked, hey, what is the percentage of battery left on your phone that causes you to have anxiety or panic?
Oh, wow.
So they took all the numbers, they crunched them, and there's a precise number.
Now, you obviously know the number, but before you saw that number, do you agree with it?
No, for me, that's too high. I don't. Panic doesn't set in for. But my question is, let's go. Let's hit the phones right now. So you, MJ Morning Show listeners, buzz us up, 800-990-1047. Buzz us up right now. I'll take a handful of calls. This is not going to be 10 minutes of phone calls. I'm going to take a handful of calls. Maybe I'll take one round of lines. Tell me, for you, when does battery remaining anxiety hit you? What is the percentage of your battery left where you say, oh, man, and you start getting like a little bit of like that pang in your stomach or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. When does battery panic hit you? What percentage? 800-990-1047. Take a handful of calls here, then the revelation, and then what is happening potentially in your car and what's going on with this. All right, phones are loaded. Andrew, screen quickly here, and I'm going to take a handful, write down the numbers, and then we'll crunch our numbers and see how it stacks up with the 2,000 Americans surveyed. We'll start with Travis in Wesley Chapel. Travis, welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Good morning, guys.
When does low battery anxiety hit you? What percentage?
About a year ago, I looked at my kids and I said, my phone's not a leash. I let my phone die and I don't care.
All right.
Look at that.
You're
so you just don't care.
At some point, like you said, when Verizon sold off, people started letting the phone become a leash and answering everybody. That's not the way it has to be.
No, you're right. We're absolute slaves to these devices. We're
100%.
They have rewired our brains. It's totally these phones have screwed us up.
Absolutely.
All right.
100%.
So I don't have a percentage down for you. I have DC. Don't care. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you. All right. Jim in St. Pete. Jim, what percentage?
23%.
Wow. That's very precise. Why 23%? Because it's just under a quarter?
Yeah, and I just figured it's going to die pretty soon, so I just said 23%. I just started saying, wow, I got to get to a plug quick.
All right, Jim, thank you. Exactly what I'm looking for. How about Pam in Tampa? Pam, when does anxiety set in? What percentage?
1%.
1%?
My phone doesn't even go to 1. So, seriously, my phone shuts off like typically if I'm at like 4%. It's like 4% or 3%. It just... It gets the spinning thing and it says shutting down. It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, so you have an inaccurate battery reader.
Yeah.
iPhones go to 1%. And doesn't it seem, Pam, that it stays on 1% disproportionately longer than it does like 7% or 8%?
Well, how do you know?
Oh, I have an Android.
Yeah,
I have a
why
Galaxy.
would you assume she had an iPhone?
Because she said 1%, and you said I have an Android. Mine doesn't go to 4%.
Mine went to 1% the other day.
Yeah.
Really? All right, well, listen, every phone's going to vary. Hey, also, Michelle and I are Android people. Our kids have to have iPhones. All right, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. That's Pam in Tampa. Let me grab James. All right, Andrew, don't fill up anymore. I'm Mylena, Carrie, James, Ellie, Stephanie, and then I'll do the big reveal here. So James is next in Wesley Chapel. James, hi, you're on the MJ Morning Show. What's your percentage?
30%.
All right, 30%.
30.
That's high.
That's really high.
Yeah, 30% ought to give you a good chunk of time, unless you're like some kind of phone
Well, my
fiend.
phone's a little old. I'm also Android, but it's. I think it's time. I think it's 3 years old. So I know it's going to die faster.
Yep. Yeah, because there's battery degradation. And thank you, James. All right, Ellie is in Bradenton. Ellie, what percentage does phone anxiety kick in?
It's a weird number, but it's 13%.
Why 13%?
I don't know why. Whenever I see 13, I start to freak out. Like, oh my God, where's the plug?
Maybe it's like Friday the 13th or superstitious type stuff.
Probably, but it's a problem. I'm working on it.
It's a problem.
I mean, 13%. You're really close to single digits.
Do you need to see a therapist?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe a cell phone therapist.
All right, Ellie, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
All right, Stephanie Lakeland. Stephanie, what percentage for you?
Well, for me, it is 2%.
2%?
Yes.
You don't think that maybe you should consider charging maybe a little sooner than 2% on the ticker?
Well, I have kids, so a lot of times they're the ones that use my device. So by the time I get it back, it's at 2%.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Mylena, Zephyr Hills, and then Carrie, and then I'm done. All right. And then I'll do the revelation on what the survey says on what most Americans say is the number where phone battery anxiety kicks in. Mylena, Zephyr Hills, you're up. What is it?
For me, it's also 2%. Unless I'm out and about, then it's about 25% if I think I'm going to be out longer. But I'm not so much anxious about it, more so that I just like listening to music when I'm out and about. So I just use my phone a little less. I'm not on Instagram as much.
But if you're home, 2%, you know that you're near a charger, you can just plug it right in.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It doesn't bother me. And if it dies, it dies. I'll just watch a show with my mom.
There you go.
I don't really care.
All right. Thank you. And then final call, Carrie is in Port Richey. Carrie, MJ Morning Show. Hello.
Hey, MJ. Mine's a little bit higher, but that's because I use my phone for work. I'm a traveling salesperson. I travel all over the state. So about 60, I get anxiety, and at 40, I start panicking.
Hold on, 60 anxiety? Okay, I'm going to go with 40% panic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's only because I have to have my phone available for my customers to get a hold of me. And if, I happen to be in an area I don't know where I'm at, and I need to get directions, need my GPS to work. So
thank you very much. Michelle, can you grab your calculator and add this up? So I'm going to give you the percentages, and I want you to come up with the average based on the numbers of our listeners. I've got, other than the don't care, the DC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We took 7 calls. All right, so 7 phone calls.
Uh-huh.
Let me give you the numbers. You ready?
Go.
23%, 1%, 30%, 13%, 2%, 2%, and 40%, the last caller. So of those numbers, give me the average.
How many numbers was that?
7.
It was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me the average of what percentage. It's 15%. So that's the average. 15%. So if you're just tuning in, I saw a survey, 2,000 Americans surveyed. When does battery percentage anxiety hit you? When you see how much battery's left on your phone?
Yeah.
And according to the 2,000 people, the average there is 38%.
Oh, wow.
It's way high.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
nuts.
30. I don't get anxiety at 38%.
No, you just get anxiety when the phone is not on your body.
Oh, well, listen, speaking of the phone, what happened the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, what happened?
Let me tell you what happened. This has never happened in the history of MJ owning a cell phone.
This is crazy.
So we leave the station and we have to go downtown and pick up something from Chloe.
This was
And
what?
we
This was
literally
on
did
this was on
Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
Tuesday. Or was it Wednesday?
I think it was
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, today's Friday. It was Wednesday. You're right. Okay,
Yes,
go ahead.
Thank you.
All right.
And we get like maybe 2 minutes away from Chloe, and I'm texting her saying, "Okay, we're gonna get there in a minute." And she said, "Did Dad leave his phone at the station?"
All right, so here's the deal.
all the way to downtown Tampa, Fester.
I've never known you to leave your cell phone
I-
anywhere.
Anywhere.
Well, hold on a minute. So Michelle's like, maybe you need to have your mental check or something. Maybe you're starting to lose it or something.
Maybe you are.
All right. So this was Wednesday, and we had to get some paperwork from Chloe. So we drove from the studio here in St. Pete near 4th and Gandy. We drive from the studio, and we go right to, by the way, to downtown Tampa to the state attorney's office. It's better to take the Gandy Bridge and then take the flyover on Gandy Boulevard in Tampa, and then take the crosstown to downtown to the Kennedy exit to get to the state. It's faster to do that than taking 275 through downtown. You'd think that's because I said to Michelle, hey, check the map. What's faster? And the recommendation was to take the Gandy. So we go.
And if I'd have said to you, use your own phone, you would have realized at that moment in time.
Guess what? We're 2 blocks away from Chloe's office at the state attorney's office. And Chloe calls Michelle because Chloe's like watching, because we're all on the Life 360 app. Me, Michelle, Julie, and Chloe. So we can all see where everyone is. And Chloe noticed that Mom's moving down Tyler Street or something, or whatever the heck it is. But Dad's phone is stuck in St. Petersburg. And Michelle says, do you have your phone? And I'm like, I do the quick, like, the phone panic. Michelle laughs. The MJ phone pocket panic.
Everybody has it.
The phone panic panic.
I touch parts of my body that don't even have a pocket.
You're like, where's my phone? Well, listen, what this tells you is that the entire ride from St. Pete to downtown Tampa, that I wasn't distracted by my phone while driving because I didn't even know that I didn't have the phone. I left my phone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So,
it's disgusting.
Isn't that disgusting, Fester?
On top of the toilet paper roll?
No, listen.
Yuck.
On the way out, I said, hey, Michelle, let me hit the bathroom real quick. So I hit the bathroom, and I put the phone down in the bathroom, and I left it. And I got in the car. We drove all the way across the bay to downtown Tampa. Then I was alerted. So then I'm like, oh, I got to call Andrew. Andrew's still at the studio, but I don't know Andrew's number because it's in my...
It's saved. I don't know his number either.
There are some numbers which I know the numbers. There are some friends. There are some relatives. There are some numbers I just know. And, back in the day, we all knew these phone numbers because we didn't have cell phones that had... the contact list.
Fester, how many friends did you have that you memorized their phone numbers?
We used, as kids,
everyone.
We knew everyone's numbers. Today, our kids and we don't know a lot of numbers. I know many more numbers than my kids. That generation totally doesn't know numbers. I know a good percentage of phone numbers, but still, I didn't know Andrew's phone number because I just hit Andrew, in my phone directory. So we had to email. I know Andrew's email address.
Yeah.
We had to email Andrew from Michelle's phone and say, Andrew, urgent, call us right away. And it was like 5 minutes, and Andrew calls. I'm like, Andrew, quickly, go to the single, what do you call the single bathroom?
The luxury box?
No, you've got the men's.
It's usually the family one.
We've got the men's room, we've got the ladies' room, and then we have
the gender unspecific.
Yeah, we've got the single toilet. Yeah. And I just popped in there, and I lifted the seat, and I put my phone on the toilet paper holder. It was in my hand. I should have just put it in my pocket. Guess what? I learned a lesson.
In your bag. But this is okay. But you were saying that I suggested you needed a mental check because Andrew, what else has he left in the studio since I've been here?
His keys.
And at least twice. And he left them literally in the
cabinet.
But in the key. Thing.
Yeah. So I have a cabinet. I've got a little file cabinet in here with a key. I lock up my laptop. I lock up our headphones, etc. So I left the key, my keys in there because I just leave my keys, and I left it in there for whatever reason. And the deal is, it's like, well,
for whatever reason,
hold on.
for whatever reason,
I forgot. Okay, but the deal is that I have the digital key on my phone. So typically you'd get to the car. Oh my God, where are my car keys? I can't open the car. I can't start the car. I happen to have the digital key on my phone, so I walk to the car and it opens my car.
Yeah.
I can start the car with the digital key on my phone. I don't need the fob.
I don't think you're supposed to be able to drive it.
No,
No,
because with Chloe, that's what they told her. She can open it, she can start her car from a distance and everything, but the car will not move unless she has the actual physical key fob.
I can drive the car.
You think so?
That's the
I know
difference.
so.
That's a big difference between a Mazda and a BMW right there. You want to know what the difference is?
I did. Oh, unless you had the key in your
I did.
bag.
Remember?
No, I think I've done this before. I believe I can
test.
I'll have to test it. I think I can drive and start the car with just the digital key.
You said it was because I had my key fob.
MJ, these are the first signs of dementia.
That's what I think. Thank you, Fester.
I left my stop.
You know, they can do a brain scan now, I think, and tell you, if you're like showing signs of it.
All right,
can you picture MJ doing like early morons in the news in the memory care unit of some
stop. All right.
Do I need to get a power of attorney already?
You like the video? If so, go ahead and click like, share, subscribe, and get more.